This is a meeting of the Capital Program Committee. It is Friday, January 17th, 2025. It's 10 a.m. And I welcome all of our members today. With that, I'm going to announce who is here. If you all could just go around and say who you are for the minutes. I'm Jill Veith, and I see Howard.
Here.
Howard Matz. John Kitchener.
Here.
Christy Kickham.
Here.
And for staff purposes, I see Sue Carmel and Stephen Hunter. Thanks for being here. I think we can go ahead and this is being audio and video recorded, just so you know. Can I get an approval of the agenda?
So moved. Seconded. Howard.
And on your motion, Howard.
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Christy?
Aye.
And Jill, I'm an aye. Thank you. And do we have any public comment at this point? Looks like no, so I'm going to close public comment. We are looking at the final report for review. I want to open that up for discussion. If anybody wants to talk about it, feel free to speak up. I think y'all have seen the changes, and if you had any.
Well,
John,
I'll go first. Yeah, I read it carefully, and I believe that it's a very accurate statement of what we originally agreed, plus the changes that we made earlier in the week. So for me, yeah, it's good and it's done. And thank you, Howard, again.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, very much. I concur. Yep.
Yeah, Howard, thank you so much for all the work that you put into writing the report. It's really
don't forget Sue, because she put up with me.
That's true.
Oh no, I didn't forget Sue. I just really am grateful because you guys, I just want to thank you all because I know this has been a team effort. I wasn't
It's great.
to hear this committee. I wasn't, and that's a whole other level of a lot of things I didn't know about. And so I appreciate you for bearing with me as I figure this out.
Yeah.
I think it was a real team effort. I like it better when we're on a team because, you know, I like to play paddle sports. So I like teams.
You've been great. I appreciate your leadership.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been a great committee season here with us.
Yeah, I think we've, no, thank all of you. I really am grateful. It's a long process, but I know this committee, I can only compare to being on the finance committee. We know so much more about what's coming down the pike with the town. And so it's really, it's a much more important committee than I think people realize sometimes. We know a lot of things before everybody else. And anyway, it's a privilege for us to get to meet with the department heads who I thought were just outstanding. Really. I'm so impressed with a lot of them. I am going to bring up one thing, and because it might come up next week, I don't know, but we have to present this report on Wednesday. I invite all y'all to come or sign on if you want to help answer questions if the select board has any about the reports. But before we vote, the airport, I went back to look at some of our documents, and so maybe some of you can go back and look as well. We had a letter from Noah this year, and he said that Nantucket Police and Fire can live on that property. I don't know if legally we can work that out, but it is in a letter from him. And so if the select board asks a question about that, I wanted to recommend that town council take a look so we could better understand that from a legal avenue.
Should we put that as in the appendix then for the report?
We don't have that letter in the appendix, but we mention in the report, you know, we would encourage housing for Nantucket Fire and Police as permitted by the FAA. So that's why I thought that might jog a question or something. And I wanted.
So do we have at least the recording and the, you know, the link and the time of it in the meeting, so that at least if we want to play it at some point, especially with the finance committee.
Sure.
I mean,
and
that's what we do on the planning board
letter.
a lot. You know, Megan will say, okay, it's this meeting and it starts at, 1 hour, 27 minutes in. And then, if if Noah said it, it should be there and we should be able to.
Yeah, and I can circulate the letter too. It's on the Nantucket Memorial Airport letter, and I'll recirculate that, John. I'll send
Okay.
it. Yeah, so you can send that. So, with that, do we have any other comments?
I do want to say that you recall that we read that legal opinion that they gave us. I felt that that legal opinion, having read lots of legal opinions, was written to achieve a specific goal, and it didn't broadly address the possibilities. It only said what they knew that they didn't want to do.
Right.
I just want to put that
I
on record.
reread that too. I agree. It said it was they couldn't do a residential development, but they're doing a residential development. And one other thing I was thinking about, which is obvious, is when you're going to house people with families, we're already having non-emergency personnel live on that property. So I just wanted to point that
Yeah,
out.
that's a good point.
Yeah. So if there are no other comments, if anybody wants to make a motion to approve our capital report for 2026, I'll take a motion. Or a motion either way, obviously.
Howard, do you want to make that, or?
I make a motion that we approve the report as it's currently been drafted and reviewed for submission to powers that be.
Great. Is there a second?
Second.
On your motion, Howard?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Christy? We lost you, Christy.
You're muted, Christy.
Maybe he stepped away for a second.
Yeah.
Caroline, I see that you came on. Caroline Baltzer, our newest committee member. Do you
Sorry, I
want
went
to
to the trailer. Aye.
Aye, great. And Christy? Should we wait for Christy?
Since he's not here, I'd like to make a motion to nominate him to do all the writing next year. I'm just kidding.
Totally. Oh my God. Totally. Oh my gosh.
See what
Christy,
happens, Caroline, when if you're absent, this is what happens to you. You suddenly got a job for 6 months.
Yeah, actually.
I know
exactly.
Don was absent last meeting, and the whole vote got redone.
Christy, on the Howard made a motion to approve the report.
Yeah. Aye. Yeah.
Thanks,
Sorry.
Christy. And Jill, I'm an aye, so that is unanimous. And thank you all for your hard work.
Thank you. Good job, Madam Chair. You
Yeah.
did great. It was a big
Excellent.
change this year. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry. Does anyone have any committee reports?
No, but I just do want to thank you, Sue, again. I know what you went through, and I feel grateful and apologetic that it was as much a burden as it turned out to be.
Not at all. You're very welcome.
Oh, if there are no committee reports, I also want to say I'm hoping we can all get together. It would be better for me if we do it before May. If we could get together one time and talk about the Rorys and how we might want to change that. So I think we all had some concern, and that way, if we work a few of those kinks out before May, it gives plum time through the summer. My concern is that we might have to meet this summer because of the fall town meeting in case some other capital requests come in. And so it'd be good if we could fix the Rorys maybe before the next process starts again, which could be as early as July. I mean, I'm hoping not, because we did our work on DPW, but things come up.
The other thing that I would like to discuss with Sue and hear the finance department's views on is why in the world are we evaluating enterprise fund requests for capital when in fact they're paid internally and you can't sweep that money into the general fund, so the town is relatively indifferent. It's the user fees that are the issue. So I'd like to talk about that some other time and hear your views. Maybe we shouldn't be looking at the airport.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why we can't use their money in the general fund personally, but they don't allow it in Massachusetts. So
Yeah. Well,
Historically we have. I'm always reviewed it, as
agree.
town-generated finances, you know, but,
I just
you
want to
know,
talk about it, Christy. I don't,
yeah, no, I get it. I get it.
yeah.
Definitely.
And I think meeting sooner than later on the Rorys while we still have it fresh is preferred.
Okay.
And so
Great.
I would, you know, I'm gonna do my part and just sort of reorient myself with the Rorys and how we go about them, and hopefully maybe within the month, you know, we find time, and then
I'm
and
totally
I
up for that. Do you want to set a time
Yeah.
now? Sorry, Christine.
yeah,
Do
I
you guys
mean,
want to meet in
yeah,
February? I leave the end of February for a week. I'm back a week.
Same.
I'm gone a week, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
Just, Madam Chair, this is just for me personally, you know, we are at the moment though, as you are, you know, the planning board we're heavy duty into
yeah,
looking at all the citizens articles. So, you know, there's a heavy meeting schedule going along with that. So
Yeah.
for me, somebody said maybe leave it a month. If Christy, if that's soon enough, that would just be helpful for me and probably Howard, just because of what we have going on with the planning board.
yeah.
But
Yeah, I mean, so are you like in 2 weeks would not be great? Is that it?
no, it definitely would not.
What about the first week of March?
I'm away the last week, February, first week in March.
Okay. I know for FinCom, our plan is to kind of be wrapped up the end of March. It doesn't work that way, but we don't have as many citizen articles this year. So we're meeting twice a week, but I think we'll be done by the end of March. So I don't know if the first, early April is good.
That would work really good for me. But look, if we need to do it.
Yeah, or we can meet and then John, we can catch you up, and then we're not going to make any like votes or decisions.
No,
to chat about it.
Whichever works best for everybody else. But
yeah, it really doesn't matter honestly when we meet. It's just important that you write down your thoughts. Otherwise, they get lost. I've tried that before.
Yeah. Howard, are you around in February at all? Like the week of the 10th?
I am around the week of the 10th, but I am leaving the island probably on the 12th. So the 11th is fine with me. I can do remote for sure.
Yeah.
I think it'd be better if those of us that are talking right now sat in the same room together. It's a more efficient conversation.
It's always more productive. Yeah.
Right.
I feel better when you smack me, Christy, to shut up, and you can't do that virtually.
Would you all be open to meeting on the morning of the 11th?
Yep.
Let me just check.
Is it March 11th you're talking about?
February 11th.
Oh, okay. Yes, I can do that.
Okay.
Tentative, right?
Yep. Let's make that tentative for February 11th at 10 a.m. if we could.
Yeah.
Because my afternoons are full with FinCom.
Yeah, I can't. I could do it in the afternoon, but not. I'd have to be done by 10:30. So unless it was earlier in the morning,
it's going to take a longer conversation, I think, than an hour.
Yeah. No, that's what I mean. So then I wouldn't be able to make that one.
What about the 12th in the morning? You tried that and see if that works.
Yeah,
it works for me.
I think that works, and then I could take a ferry in the afternoon.
Here all week.
Yeah.
Okay, then why don't we say 10 a.m. on the 12th?
Yep.
Right.
Is that good, Sue?
I will just have to verify that the room is available with Erica, so I will definitely let you all know.
Okay, great.
I have one other suggestion, Madam Chair,
Sure.
and this is really for Caroline. Caroline, this year was my first year on the Capital Committee, and I'll just be very honest. I struggled for the first 4 to 6 weeks. I didn't understand the process. I didn't understand what the process was kind of aimed at, what the goals of it were. And it took 2 hour and a half sessions, one with Christy
Mhm.
over a cup of coffee, and another one with Howard doing the same thing. And that that, I don't know, 4 hours really helped me then set me on the right track to be able
Thanks,
to
John.
add value. So I
Good
really
advice.
suggest that, whether it's Howard and Christy again or Jill, whatever, but it's definitely time well spent.
Thank you. I will definitely do that. And Howard and Christy, is that all right if I call you
Yeah.
each too? Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah,
Mhm.
anytime.
Yeah, it's logical, but it's complicated. That's all.
Oh, yes, I can see.
Or maybe it's
yeah.
illogical.
Ideally, maybe before we meet, so that when we're talking about these
Yeah.
things, it's you have a better understanding about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in the next
fine.
week or two.
I think before
Yeah.
that meeting that we have to discuss revamping things, I think you'd need to have some context.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Next week or two.
Acceptable, but going forward, break it out.
Yeah, it's
But the problem
definitely a challenge, and talking it through just doesn't explain what.
I think
physically
a
reduction.
is.
I think Brian's
Brian,
things on.
can you mute?
Oh, sorry.
No problem. Hey, Jill, I have a question for Sue.
Yes.
Sue, is there any way to update us? And it doesn't have to be piecemeal, but maybe a general update on our report, because I know some things will change, and I know sometimes decisions are made, whether it's in the finance committee session or the select board session or town admin. And I was wondering if maybe you could just send us a report towards the end of the cycle, I guess, closer to town meeting, or after everything's voted on, before it goes to print, so that committee members are aware of the adjustments to what our recommendations were.
Absolutely.
Good
Only
idea.
because in the past we've had things change and we don't know about, and we'd never really know about it unless we really, because our session is pretty much over.
Mhm.
So I just thought it would be, and that's just by design, which is fine, but I just think it would be nice for us committee members to know what was changed, maybe what was the mechanism and why was it changed, so that we have a better understanding as we make recommendations, why things happen like that.
Mhm. Sure,
That'd be
absolutely.
good.
That's an excellent suggestion, Christy. Perhaps, Madam Chair, we should bake that into the process going forward, as kind of the final step.
Yeah. I think that would be great. I like that a lot. Some of the ones that we'll talk about it when we talk about it, but I think we all have our own concerns.
Yeah, I mean, it goes both ways, whether they may remove something that we recommended and they may add something that we didn't recommend. So it'd just be nice to see how close were we, and how did that pan out?
Yeah, I can pull up the votes on the debt exclusions and then on our article. Are we going to be 22 or 23, Sue? 22 for general fund capital in the warrant? It's something like that.
Oh, I'm sorry. You asked me the article number?
Yeah.
Article 10 for general fund, Article 22 for enterprise.
Okay. So we could go and look those votes up too, Christy. But
Yeah. I do think it'd be a nice part of the process, as John recommended.
Not a problem.
And then, Jill, your meeting with our select board is next Wednesday?
it's Wednesday. It's a joint select board, FinCom, Capcom.
It is, huh? Okay.
And
Shoot.
if any of you can come or sign in or join, that's great.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
Great.
I'm traveling, but I'll try to sign in.
Yeah.
And I was going to be there with
Howard's
you.
gonna come.
And if anybody wants, Sue had sent me the recording of last year's presentation, if you wish, but essentially Stephen walked through page by page.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. So that's what
And Sue, how do I get an invite for that? Is that
Yeah.
just a you?
You'll get it from NCTV. We can do it as a panelist, or I can just send you the agenda. I already posted the agenda yesterday, so I'm happy to set it up in the calendar and send you the webinar link.
Could
Yeah,
you send
but it
to
would
the
be good to get the NCTV because then we don't have to get promoted up. If
Okay.
we,
Yep, absolutely. We just haven't, I still have to do that, but yes, you will get it probably early
yeah.
next week.
Great. Yeah, I'm gonna make a brief comment about the report and then take questions. They've got a lot to get through. They got to go through the whole warrant and approve it next week. So I don't think we'll be
Yeah.
taking too long, but yeah.
you know, I not to overly complicate this. So, I'm not going to be, personally offended if the answer to this is forget it. But, as Brian is on, is there some value at some point along that, when Sue is getting ready to, or does the thing that we just talked about, would it be worth having like an hour with Brian so he can kind of give us his take on how it all went this cycle and, any comments he may have for the next cycle? As he sort of is the chief on all of this. But if that's not, it's just a thought, that's all.
Oh yeah, no, I'd love to get Brian's input on that. I mean, maybe if Brian couldn't do it too, maybe Sue could convey to us kind of how their Rory system works, maybe a little differently than ours.
Yeah.
And obviously they're looking at it differently than we do too, but that might be good to compare.
Yeah, I'd just be interested as a new person as to hear Brian's point of view of how it all went. How did he feel about how our meetings went? And just any pointers he may have for how it might be better the next time around. That's all.
John, does that mean you're going to stick on for another year?
Okay, so I had to admit to Mr. Matz that I really enjoy this process. So, yes, there is a small matter of getting elected to the planning board, though. So,
yeah, are you going to run, John?
most likely,
Great. I hope so.
but I'm going to need a lot of votes, guys.
I'm totally willing to go out there. I think
Yeah.
that's great.
So,
Yeah, to those of you that are locals, those of us that come to the island and didn't grow up here are a bit handicapped and could really use your help. Like
Yeah.
this, so John really could use some local support here to get the word out.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I'll hold up some signs, John.
thank you, Caroline.
It's good.
All right. Well, with that, let's do I have a motion to adjourn? I can leave you all in peace.
So moved.
Seconded.
Thank
Howard.
you. On your motion, John?
Aye.
Christy?
Aye.
Caroline?
Aye.
Howard?
Aye.
And Jill, I'm an aye. Thank you all so much. Really appreciate it. And
See you next
we'll see
week.
y'all
Thank you.
soon. You bet.
Talk to you soon.
Thank you, Jill.
Yep.
Bye.